Well, good morning, everyone, on this bold Sunday morning. Well, good morning, everyone, on this bold Sunday morning. Thank you. All right, we are alive. I know the time change has put a little kink in us, and me as well. So let's all just gather and worship, and here we are. I was fortunate enough to be able to go on the mission trip to Cameroon in January and visit Les Foyers d'Espoirs School of Girls. So today I am reading from my journal, and I was glad I wrote this down because I did not know I'd be telling you these or sharing these stories with you. So here we go. The first day that we went to Les Foyers, well, it was the first of many I call Mr. Toad's Wild Rides. Wow. You guys, if you've been to Disneyland and been on Mr. Toad's, you know what it's like. It's chaotic. It's cars everywhere. They were coming at us, going at us, street lights, no regulations, doesn't matter. It was crazy. We got there, which was good. People on the side of the road. This was a real eye-opener for me. There were people selling bananas on their heads, shoes on their heads, clothes on their arms, kids coming up to the cars trying to sell things. Trash is piled on the side of the road. There is just, poverty was just very apparent. It made my heart sink. When we got to the school, it's behind this huge metal gate, and I can see why. Because the road to the school, again, these homes or shacks that these people live in is their home, and it's their way of life. The girls were all smiled as the gate opened and they saw us pull in. They were so excited to see us. We toured the facility. We realized how little they have, but yet how happy they are. They had rooms, and they had 5 or 6 bunk beds in each room. That's how many were in this little room. Their mattresses were so paper thin. Incarnation Church, another church that one of the ladies, Joan, went with us, they had quilted 40 blankets. 40 quilted blankets. This was like gold to these children. They were so happy. Not only that, our church, which you may not know, had made 36 beautiful sundresses out of gorgeous material, very bright, very vivid. They were adorable. As we got to the church and the sister was delegating who got what dress, they all came down and modeled for us. It was so cute. You thought giving them $1 million. They were so happy. We brought pens, we bought paper, we bought underwear, we bought coloring books, we brought crafts, we brought things that we could. We all sat down and we colored. We all sat down and colored. You remember last time you colored? Must have been 35 years ago. I don't remember. It was hard for me to stay in the lines, but we did. I did good. Yay. Pastor Nathan taught them a song, and he spoke to them in French. Ooh la oui, Pastor Nathan. They caught on like that, and we sang our hearts out. We colored our hearts out. We had such a great time bonding and singing. With the language difference that we had, there is one thing that is not difference, and it's universal, and that is love. Love is universal. It has no barriers. It has no language, and everybody understands love. The next time we visited, we brought them ice cream bars, and we sat on the porch. If at all possible, they were even more excited to see us, which I didn't think they could be, but they were. It filled my heart. I can't describe it. They did 3 dances for us as we sat on the porch and watched them dance and sing. And as we sat there and sweated, and that was a very common daily thing, is sweat every day, all day long. It was wonderful, but we got through it. At the end of the songs, they pulled every single one of us up there to dance with them. Pastor Luther was mortified. But you did it. Yay. You got up there, and he's like, I'm not going to do this. I said, yes, you are. And he did. So we were all up there. Then it was question time for us. The girls had some questions, and one of them asked them, what made you come all the way here to see us? And I thought that was an excellent question. Pastor Luther answered that when he said, we're coming here to help support you girls, to see what we can do to help you in the future and the needs that you have, and to see where we can help. One of my favorite questions one of the girls asked us is, why are you so white? We laughed, just like you did. And one of the girls from North Dakota, Allison, she responded, she said, well, I live in snow 6 months out of the year, so that's why I'm white. But they had never seen snow. But they don't actually see a lot of white people as well. So we were quite, on parade there. So the other question was, why is your hair so long and why is your hair straight? They all had to touch our skin. I remember one girl looking at my veins. Of course, I have rice paper skin, so you could see everything. And she was just following my veins. She was just touching my skin, and she touched our hair. And they loved Carol's hair. Oh my gosh, they just wanted to run their hair, because they have different hair. But they loved to touch us, they loved to hug us. They were just beautiful souls with a horrific background. Because it is so poverty-ridden, families put their daughters out on the streets to make money starting at the age of 12 or 13. One dad kicked out their daughter because she thought she was a sorceress. Black magic is very, very strongly believed there. He kicked her on the street at 13 with nothing on the street. She told us she was afraid to sleep at night. She was so scared and afraid. What do you do? Nothing. One lady after a week saw her, thank God for this angel, and she took her to the school. Most of these girls never get visits from their parents ever again. They're just gone. Thank God for this school. These are just a few stories of what we heard. The experience will never be forgotten. The love I felt, the joy they all have, and the love of the Lord that is embedded in my mind, in their hearts and in their souls. We have so much here. It made me think of how little our gifts or donations can do so much for others and mean the world to them. So, if you feel in your heart to help, we'll be passing a plate for donations directly to go to the school, whether it be to make bunk beds and get more mattresses, whether it be to purchase a computer so the girls will have some knowledge. They need to learn how to have some skills after they get out of the school, or a sewing machine so they can do sewing. Whatever it is, the girls, I promise you, I can feel them thanking you right now with their smiles so big. The love that is pouring out for them. I want to thank you for listening to me. I want to say thank you, and God bless the girls at La Poye, and God bless you all.
Thank you, Laurie. Pastor Nathan asked me at the Worship and Music meeting if I would talk about how did I get here for Bold Women Sunday. Researching the word bold in the Merriam-Webster dictionary turned up these words: courageous, daring, confident, vivid, prominent, impertinent. I was christened by a shirt-tail relative pastor in Pennsylvania, raised by parents in the more liberal church, in a Lutheran church in our small town of Oaks, North Dakota. And that has made all the difference. Influential people in my life include family, friends, teachers, and pastors, colleagues as well. There have been 4 important, bold women in my life that come to mind immediately. 2 grandmothers, my mother, and my sister. My grandmothers were born in the late 1800s and lived to be 95 and 87. One moved from Pennsylvania to North Dakota because the opportunities were better in North Dakota. The other one was the daughter of Germans from Russia and married the son of a North Dakota homesteader who emigrated from Prussia. They were my friends and confidants as I grew up. These women raised my mother and my dad and my mother, never learning to drive, but being vital parts of their communities as well as faithful partners to their husbands for over 50 years of marriage each. Neither of my grandmothers nor my mother were meek and subservient. They were opinionated, organized, and ready for any challenge that was next. My parents were born in 1915 and 1917 during World War I, went to college during the Great Depression, working their way through. We're both part of World War II. My father is a soldier and my mother is a dietitian. They were faced with their greatest challenge, however, when my sister Holly was born in 1953 and identified as a Down's child. In 1953, the common advice was to institutionalize such children and go on with life. My parents chose to raise Holly with my 2 brothers and me. Holly was a bold woman, part of the first 10 children identified for a special education room in my hometown. She moved to Minot and to Fargo for schooling and job opportunities at 18 and lived in dorms and then on her own for 18 years. She knew the bus routes in Fargo far better than I ever did and explored all of Fargo. These women and my father were all courageous, daring, confident, vivid, prominent, and impertinent. There were also 3 pastors in my life from an early age who shaped me. The first pastor I remember was filled with faith and missionary zeal all his life. He was Norwegian and spoke Norwegian, Malagasy, English, and probably French. By the time I remember him, he was ready to celebrate his 50th ordination of his ministry, which included 30 years as a missionary in Madagascar, World War II in the Congo with his wife and 6 children, and in the USA from the 1940s onward. The next was Corky Rasmussen, a contemporary of my parents with a son my age and a zeal to change the old ways, teaching confirmation and doing a lot of other Lutheran things. Corky yelled at us as confirmads when we hadn't studied and didn't participate in his questions. He also rode his bicycle uptown in a very small town in Bermuda shorts, sporting a 1/4 of an inch crew cut. That wasn't normal hairdo for a pastor. He was also known for Bible study sermons, complete with a screen and a rickety little tray holding a projector, and worksheets for everyone in the congregation. We broadcast live on radio, and when we didn't sing a hymn as he thought we should be singing it, he stopped us, he scolded us, and he said, "Okay, let's sing it again," and went on. The third was Paul Johnson at Grace Lutheran Church in Huntington Beach. Originally from Nebraska, Pastor Paul was ordained, married, and set off for the mission field in Japan with his wife in about 3 days. He was another pastor filled with missionary zeal and spent 11 years in Japan where he learned to eat raw tuna, and they had 4 boys. He was welcoming and friendly, a dynamo. He addressed all of us women as beautiful. That way he didn't have to remember our names. And he too celebrated his 50th year as a pastor when we were part of his congregation. Under his leadership, Grace grew from a mission church to a congregation of 2,000 when he retired. And Pastor Paul didn't go visit every one of those 1,200 people. We, the congregation, did it. We said, "Come see, come see, come see." That's what we all need to be doing. And now I have a third missionary pastor who has taken me on a wonderful missionary trip that you just heard about, and reminds all of us every day, every Sunday, to love, the kind of thing we need in this world. How did I get here? I have been blessed with a powerful partner, family, pastors, friends, and colleagues. And in the pews, I've been blessed with you every Sunday. Thank you. Thank you for being God's presence in my life. I know He's in charge. God bless us all. That's how I got here.
Good morning. Bold. Whenever we give a label that's descriptive, several things happened. We tend to generalize, we tend to idealize, and we all feel guilty because we can never measure up. However, my grandmother Jackson was bold. My uncle always said if you put her on a rock in the middle of a lake, she could make a living. She worked in a meat packing plant for 12 hours a day until she joined a campaign to elect a governor in Arizona who was committed to improving working conditions. During the Depression, she grew sweet peas and tied them into bouquets and sold them at the 5 and 10-cent store. In later life, she bought a property across the street from Arizona State University and became a landlord. I didn't realize until I was in my 20s that she actually slept in the dining room. Ecclesiastes 9:10, whatever your hand finds to do, do it with all of your strength. A verse probably taken out of context, but I've always valued the visual it creates. Do it well. Give it your all. Beat it. And as roadblocks appear, never give up, never give in. Find creative solutions, take the less traveled road. In my mind's eye, this is God. Creative energy that is ever present and never relinquishes. We don't all agree about many things, no group of people do, but there are some things that are too obvious to ignore. Jesus was lowly. He shared. He didn't own much, but he was also strong, mighty, and tenacious. His example encourages us not to give in to the great deceiver, fear. The one thing that does not give me pause, or the one thing that does give me pause in leading, is the following. I might make the wrong decision. I might be criticized. I might not be properly prepared. I might make a mistake. I might make someone mad. While all of this can be true, it's not true that it should keep one from moving forward if there's a task at hand. Live and learn. Adjust along the way. Make it right if it's not. Keep going. It is planned that the Ministry Center will open for the first time on April 2nd. That's 3.5 weeks. You will be receiving more information about how to participate if you want to. There are lots of ways to participate. At this point, there are not going to be showers. Yet. But it's time to begin. We have a free market through our partnership with Second Harvest Food Bank, a closed bank, a family room where a person can charge a phone and sit in a comfortable chair and relax. There will be hot coffee and an easy breakfast, a hot lunch, and an opportunity for each human to interact with another human. Maybe we will learn what Jesus seemed to know. The social status does not define your worth, and there are lessons to be learned from those with the least. It may not be the way of the world, but it is the way of the Lord. Two very different things. I want to take a moment to add that the Lord's Pantry is and will continue to be the most long-standing component of the Ministry Center. I had to call the Orange County Food Bank to ask when OR started getting food because no one could remember. It had been so long ago. Something like 45 years ago. And in one sense, the Ministry Center takes on some of the work of the Ship House. Not in the same way, but provides some of the same services. Jim Huffman continues to quietly do his good work with people who are involved with and supported by the SHIP program. Sometime in the next few weeks, we can have a brunch and open house in the Ministry Center so everyone can see what's going on. Your acceptance and support and patience is encouraging. This is a team project, something we can all enjoy in some capacity. Thank you for being present and contributing your ideas. We've been blessed in so many ways, perhaps the best being community. Let's widen that circle and find some new friends, and let's be bold. Thank you.